also order, he could order within the swing states, if he wanted to, he could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election in each of those states. I mean, it's not unprecedented. I mean, these people out there talking about martial law, it's like it's something that we've never done. Martial law has been instituted 64 times, Greg. So I'm not calling for that. We have a constitutional process. We clearly have a constitutional process. I think you highlighted some of that in your previous segment. That has to be followed.
So what you just saw there was a clip of an interview between Michael Flynn and Greg Kelly on NewsMax. And Michael Flynn is basically saying that Donald Trump has the ability and should use that ability to basically declare martial law within various swing states to basically redo the election. And he simultaneously says that while saying all Democrats, progressives, the media, they're scaremongering about the potential arrival of martial law. Like, this is insane. This is insane stuff. This is a man that Donald Trump pardoned. Many people don't think the pardon was valid beyond Trump's political and ideological interests. Like, this wasn't somebody that was put away in bad faith, that this person is getting rewarded for being an ideological and political ally of the Donald Trump movement. And now that he's free, he's basically going on news sources that exist primarily to be even more unhinged than the most unhinged elements at Fox News and say things like this. And you might be saying to yourself now, hearing all this, why does it matter? Trump is clearly lost. Trump is clearly not going to be president. And these sorts of actions aren't going to happen. Like Trump won't be using these powers. But the reason this is so poisonous, the reason this is so dangerous, is that even by saying these sorts of things on, these big newscasts, NewsMax, of course, isn't mainstream, but it has a large audience. It's a TV news network. And by saying these sorts of things on them, you are legitimizing, and at least in an indirect sense, starting the process of mainstreaming anti-democratic values. That basically what you're saying is, this election was not on the up and up. Something fishy happened. There's no evidence of that. No evidence has been provided. The courts, whether by, Democratic appointed judges or by Republican appointed judges, or specifically in some cases, Trump Republican appointed judges, like, they haven't actually proven any kind of case. In most of the cases are so spurious, they're so weak, they don't even merit being heard. You want to go from that point to say, obviously, in only the states Donald Trump lost, only the ones he lost, none of the ones he won, of course, those are all fine. And the ones he lost in particular that matter to the Electoral College result, clearly something bad happened, and we have to use military capabilities, quote unquote, he's really sanitizing that term, to go in and redo the election, which is basically Michael Flynn telling Donald Trump to use the military to supersede local authority with force, because that's what the military is, to redo the election. And how that would be done, we don't know. Who would get to vote, how voting would be done, we don't know. But the point is, this is an argument being made in a conservative space. It's not going to matter this time. This election's over. But this thought process has poisoned the Republican Party. This is now mainstream thought in the Republican Party. It may not be mainstream thought with the average American yet, but it is mainstream within the Republican Party. And if you think this is going away when Trump goes away, you're kidding yourself. The United States is in a dangerous position right now. And just because the one effort to overturn an election fails, doesn't mean all subsequent efforts will fail. Sometimes the first attempt is the canary in the coal mine. And this could be that canary. And there's a warning here to all lovers of democracy that the Republicans if they have an election where it's more plausible that some of these arguments could work, won't hesitate to use them and may succeed when they do. And again, these arguments are just like any other Overton window argument. You make the absurd argument to mainstream and legitimize the more reasonable ones. So you have all these crazy people like Flynn and all the others that are too crazy to be formally associated in some cases with the Trump campaign or White House say like we need martial law or military intervention or whatever. And then you'll have more reasonable Republicans saying all we really need to do is essentially ban all forms of voting that don't benefit us and really restrict the franchise and restrict voting registration and these sorts of things to basically do this sort of work with legitimacy in mind. And that's what's going to happen here. The United States, guys, I'm not joking. There's still a risk that their days of being a democracy are numbered unless the Republican Party, frankly, is absolutely destroyed. Whether it's by the people finally realizing that the party does not represent democratic values, or whether the party falls apart as the reasonable people who have right-wing values but believe in democracy abandon it. I don't know. I'm skeptical of the future of democracy in the world's most powerful country.